So, hello and welcome to our Hidden Treasure Moments podcast. I am Kara Adams, and this is my husband,
Troy Adams.
And we want to welcome you to our maiden voyage. This is our very first Hidden Treasure Moments podcast.
Yep.
And what the podcast is about, it's really about giving a voice to people, to everyday people who have really amazing stories, but no one ever hears about them. And maybe they've gone through cancer, maybe they've gone through divorce. Who knows? We all have been through some things, but really the goal is to give everyday people a voice to help and inspire others. So that's why we're here. Babe, if you'd say a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Troy Adams, again, been married to my beautiful wife for over 10 years. And I will say, like any marriage, it has been, we've had our ups and our downs, and we have definitely been through a lot of trials and tribulations. Many people have counted us out, but, we're still standing.
Mm-hmm. And now tell them what you do, because you have an amazing job.
So right now I'm a driver development coach for a lot of elite athletes in off-road, NASCAR, global rallycross or rallycross. So again, I get to travel all over the world racing and working with many different athletes.
Absolutely. And I am Kara. I have been a executive, I feel like my entire life. I've worked for credit unions, for auction houses, and just recently I was diagnosed with breast cancer in May of 2016. And that really changed my entire life. It changed how I looked at things, and it really gave me a platform to help others. Like, I felt like I'm in my purpose now. I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. We have a son together. His name is Truly, and he is 8 years old. And really, this journey, this point right now in my life, doing all of this, like, I feel like I'm living the dream. Like, we've come through the nightmare. And now we are finally in the dream sequence of what we're going through. And so I'm doing this full time. I'm not an executive. Well, I'm an executive for my
for
own
your own
business.
firm, exactly.
Yeah. I'm the CEO. What? No. But, it's really, I would say it's a really good, inspiring, exciting time.
Yeah, it is. And so where are we going next?
So really, the goal is, what are some things that we've been through? So like that the audience can relate, that the listener can relate to what we're going through, who we are, that we're not just this stuffy couple in like cute suits and with a really cute haircut. But
That's not what your son said.
That's my goodness. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to digress really quick. I got my hair done yesterday. I walk into the house and my son Truly is like, "Mommy, I don't like your hair, Mommy. That's not cute. I don't like your hair, Mommy." So, I can't win. But to me,
it's cute.
Thank you, baby.
And that's all that matters. Well, again, let's take it back. Again, a little over 10 years ago, we got engaged, married, and times were tough, I think, for us right out the gate.
Yeah.
I go from having a beautiful wedding, kind of the wedding of my dreams, on top of one of the tallest buildings in downtown LA, the Wells Fargo building at City Club. And, just even prior to that, your sister, when you read the book Hidden Treasures, you'll find out that, even one of the family members tried to kill herself prior to us getting married and kind of throw in the house. And
2 weeks before the wedding.
Yeah, 2 weeks before the wedding. And our premarital counseling, out of what I would say 20 couples, there was only 3 or 4 who actually did get married. And then shortly after that, it was just a few that actually stayed married and probably still stayed married. So we know that marriage is not easy. Right. It's a challenge. You have to work at it. But at the end of the day, through all, again, the trials and tribulations that we've had, again, we're still standing. And that's a testament to you as far as I'm concerned, because I probably put you, not probably. I tell people all the time when they read the book, You got to get through chapter 6 because I'm not. I was not the best husband, but again, there's a lot to learn through relationships and through marriage.
Yeah, and what I think is kind of crazy about marriage and about my expectation, like I love the Hallmark Channel. I watch the Hallmark Channel every chance I get. And what's crazy is like during Christmas time, like Truly and I, we sit on the couch and we watch Hallmark. But I think for young girls, young boys, the Hallmark Channel, it doesn't, or those shows, those romantic love stories don't really give you a good view of what marriage is really like. And I told Troy, like when we first got married and we were going through just craziness, like we were on our honeymoon, like he was talking about, and the market had crashed. And we're laying in bed, and my broker, because at the time I was in real estate, my broker was calling, and deal after deal after deal was unfunding. Like
hundreds of thousands of dollars of deals. It wasn't just
like I was
thing.
doing it. I was a boss. Well, okay, maybe not a boss. I was a baby boss.
Yeah.
But it was really crazy. So we're sitting there and, we're really planning to use that money to pay for our super extravagant, lavish, beautiful wedding. And within the matter of a couple of hours, we had lost $50,000, $60,000. Like everything had changed. And when you think about marriage and you think about newlyweds, to have that be the very first thing that you're dealing with, as a newly married couple was really hard. And then you transition into, I was older. I was 37 I was 33 when we got married, and I was already ready to have baby. So
yeah,
they don't talk about that on the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, they don't talk about that at all. They don't talk about that growing up.
No.
But that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
Wait for that.
Yeah. But, when you think about it, it's you don't realize what you can go through, how strong you are until you've been through something.
Yeah.
And so that's not only marriage, that's really life. And, that's when we come back around and we come back around full circle to what Hidden Treasure stands for. It's that we all have these treasures that we possess in our souls and in our spirits, and that God has given us to, be unique and to give back and be fruitful with the world. And what's crazy is that we spend a lot of time hiding what is unique and what's beautiful about ourselves. And that's what this show is about. It's about not only the pretty and the great, but it's also about the gritty, the ugly, the nasty, the smelly, because sometimes you have to go through that too. And that's really when we think of, finding a hidden treasure, what sometimes you gotta, go through, like, I don't know, it's like a dung beetle, and there's these treasures. There's
hell is a dung beetle? See, that's the kind of stuff that I have to deal with. A dung.
No, wait.
No, stop.
No.
A dung beetle.
People drink coffee.
What the hell is a dung beetle first?
It's a beetle that does something in poop. But coffee comes from that, super expensive coffee. You guys can look it up because I don't remember exactly how the story goes. But the point to the story,
okay, the
point is that this,
you have to go through the poop
to get to the treasure. Yes. And that's really what we're talking about. Like, we don't want to talk about the easy stuff, how easy it was to be married and how, I love my husband. Oh, I love my wife. Like, yeah. But tell us when you hated them, how did you get through? When you thought about killing them, I mean, not that we do that. Not that I've ever thought that.
You lying. You lying. That's the one, you lying, first off. And we're going to start the show off first one, and you're going to start lying automatically. She's lying. The bottom line is, the first time, I will tell you one thing that my sister said. She's like, you know what, Troy? You probably never thought about killing someone until you got married. Your wife would be the first one you think about killing. And what crazy thing is, when we went through, again, we went through a lot of different things. And let's just get it out here right out the gate. I cheated on my wife.
With a white girl, not even a cute white girl. Well, maybe he thought she was
cute. Whatever. You don't know. She don't even know. Don't even know. Hey, don't start.
But she did have a nice body.
Okay. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about killing Your spouse.
My bad.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So, gee, many, Chris, see what I have to deal with. They don't tell you this when you get married. Fellas out there, they don't tell you this when you get married. And you always say, you see these commercials, oh, I want a strong black woman so we can work together. Sometimes you may want one that's like a mother wife. You want one that's strong, but then also can be your mama in a sense too.
Oh,
because,
you like that.
Girl, you don't lost your mind today. She lost her mind. But the bottom line is, going back, I think your spouse is the only one that will ever get you to that point to where you'd want to kill them. But then you love them at the same time.
Yes.
And
so you don't.
What's crazy, and you don't.
Right.
And women think about it more than what they will lead on to.
Yeah.
Which we found out through post-marriage counseling after the fact.
Yes.
When we were working through our issues with me cheating.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And I think this is a great opportunity for a quick break. And so that when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about our counseling, what we went through, and really how we got to this place. But remember, please like us on Facebook at lovehidden treasure.com. And we will be back shortly. So, hello, welcome back. Again, I am Kara Adams.
Troy Adams.
And this is Hidden Treasure Moments. And where we left off was talking about marriage counseling and wanting to kill somebody.
You more than likely wanting to kill me at that time. But no, I think a lot of it is, when you're going through, whether it's infidelity, whether it's infertility, which we, had to go through as well. All of those life moments, those marriage moments, people and our spouse, our moms, our dads, our aunts, our uncles, they don't prepare us for that. Our community don't prepare for that, right? So, it's one of those things that we go through and we don't talk about. Mm-hmm. And that was one thing with marriage counseling. It made us, in our group counseling, I didn't like the individual counseling, but I loved our group counseling because it made us actually see that we weren't the only crazy ones going through. After we got through we went through 6 weeks of other couples acting like they liked each other. Right. But in reality, once I got up and told them why we were really there, we found out that many of the women had thought about killing them after the break. One of the ladies even told you, she was like, what?
Yeah. So after Troy, he had stood up and been very vulnerable with what we were dealing with in our marriage. And he's right. Like, we had been sitting week after week after week. And everyone in there was like, oh my God, my husband, he's my world. Oh, my wife is so beautiful. I kiss her feet. And, we were in there thinking, I hate him. He hates me. And how the hell are we going to make it through? Like, we were struggling. And so when he got up and professed what he was going through and what was weighing him down, it changed the entire the entire ambiance, the entire feeling of the group. And it was almost like everyone finally could let their belly out. Like you could see their belly, the little belly flap hanging over their pants, because people were finally able to be real. And so Troy got up and he told his story. I got up and told my story, which he really hadn't heard, all the hurt and anger and resentment that I had been hiding. And when we went to break, a woman came up to me who was probably the biggest like cheerleader of her husband, which I get, but she came up and said, Kara, I'm going to tell you something. I've really been thinking about killing my husband. And she wasn't joking. She wasn't, saying it to get a rise out of me. She was really serious. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, the only thing that's keeping me from killing my husband is the fact that we have 2 young children. But I think about how I'm going to do it. I think about, could I do it and not get caught? Like, I pretend so much and it's weighing so heavy on me that if I don't kill him, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so she said, but, maybe I can talk to him.
So let me just stop you there. And again, I think there's listeners that are out there, whether it's male or female, that may be even thinking that. And so I will tell you, if you have gotten to that point, if you've gotten to that point in your relationship where you are thinking of doing something so drastic, then you need to get help. Because at the end of the day, when you got with your wife, your husband, for those who are out there who are, in a same sex marriage, the bottom line, you didn't get with them because you hated them. You didn't get with them to kill them. You got with them because you loved them and you found something within that relationship. And all it was what was lost, what the communication, understanding what their love languages are, right?
Wait, do you remember mine?
No, I don't remember all that. Not at this time. I guess I'm going to have to remember those. But at the serious part of that is, again, get help. Seek help. Yeah. I would tell most men, do not try to confess what they've have done or are going through without being in a safe environment of marriage counseling and or a marriage counselor, because that can go all bad. And we've talked about that many times. I know you mentioned it in the book, but I've talked to guys who have read the book, Hidden Treasure, and I will say, make sure that you do that in a safe environment. Never, ever just come right out and tell your spouse that you love something that could be detrimental to your relationship. Yes. Without being in a safe environment.
Yeah. And I would say, if you feel so moved to be honest, because from a woman's point of view, I would say then definitely, talk to a professional, find out how do I do this? How do I tell my spouse in a way that will, it'll hurt no matter what. Yeah. But that won't completely destroy our relationship. And then, you might have to do individual counseling. You might have to do group, but be honest, because, you can't build anything on that shaky of a foundation when you're ready.
Yeah, but the problem is women say, "Oh, I want you to be honest. Be honest with me." No, they don't want you to be honest.
Yes, I told you. Yes,
you do. But I'm just telling you, from a man's point of view and a man's side, they better not be honest in a not safe or comfortable environment, because they will either be divorced or dead. It's a simple deal.
Yeah.
We can say
you can't be arguing and be honest.
It's hard not to argue when you have a strong Black woman. Yeah. You're going to see your point. I'm going to see my point. And at the end of the day, we have to eventually be able to agree to disagree. Yeah. And just like we've learned, and we've come a long way, but even in our own household, it's tough to agree to disagree.
That's true. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is
agree to disagree?
We're going to agree to disagree, because I think you tell the truth, but we're just going to agree to disagree. And what I'm always thinking about when I look at people who've made it through something is, how are they still standing what in them, what strength in them do they possess that has allowed them to stand through everything? Like, I call it my I'm still standing phase. So, when you think about it, babe, you think about maybe not even us, but, when you first got into coaching, I remember that you would coach for free for a really long time. And I would be like, baby, we need some money. Like, go get a job, go get a janitor job, go do something, because I didn't understand not having the entrepreneurial spirit. But, today you're still standing because of everything that you did, all the sacrifices that you made. And can you sum that up into how are you still here? What possessed you to be able to make it through?
I think it's multiple things. I think first and foremost, I would say God, and I'm not a big religious or Christian person, I would say. I don't go to church every day on Wednesdays and on Sundays, but at the end of the day, I think my faith in God that he would get us through. The second part, I think, is my family. I think the foundation of my family, my dad, my mom, my aunts, my uncles, my two sisters, also helped a ton with being able to be there and get me through. And I look back at all the times, even with my sister, my oldest sister, when we were going through, she said the one thing that I would tell most men again is that no matter what happens in your relationship, never, ever, ever leave the house. And that's what my older sister told me. She was like, Troy, you get your butt up. I don't care if you're crying right now. And you go back and you go to the house. She said, I don't care if she kicked you out. You sleep in the garage. You sleep out in the parking lot every day.
That's good.
She's going to see you, and your son needs to know that you're not a quitter and that you're going to see. And so I think that was that was probably the turning point. One of the turning points in my life is to understand that this relationship's not going to be easy. Mm-hmm. But no matter what, till death do you part, means till death do us part. Mm-hmm. To rich and poor, I didn't agree to that one. But through death do us part meant something for me.
Yeah.
And so I would say that was the one of the key points of why I'm still standing. When it comes to the business side, I've always been entrepreneurial, and for me it's just trying to figure out where the economy is going and what works and what I had passion for. And my passion is to help young people, but primarily racers. Mm-hmm. My passion was to win, which I love doing. And I figured out how to get both. I figured out how to work with young drivers and older drivers, how to continue to work with their mental state to help them become elite, and then how to go out and win races. And once we figured that out, people paid me good money to go do that.
Mm-hmm. Like when I think about when I first met you, which was probably about 12 years ago now, mm-hmm. and you had taken over the track and, you had really reinvented what the track was. We started doing drifting, your lessons and your programs, your driver programs. Like I remember walking up and there'd be little kids crying. Like, but they're the same ones that love you today. And so I applaud your ability to be able to be, am I going to make you cry?
No, this is not going to make me cry. This point. She tried to make me cry. That ain't happening. Go ahead.
But I really applaud your ability to provide structure and strength, because some of these kids, like, there have been a couple that I thought, they might be on the spectrum or they might be going through something. They have disciplinary problems. And somehow, some way, through your leadership, through, focusing on racing and what it takes to be a winner, you've really turned their lives around and you've helped to turn a community around. Like, can you talk about like the Jesuses and the young kids that have come up through racing and like how other people, they might think like, I don't know what my purpose is, but, I'm passionate about this one thing. I see what you've done with the young kids in the community, and, how did that come about?
Well, I think, again, it goes back. It came about with, again, my passion for kids, my passion for success, and believing in everyone has that opportunity to be successful. And so a lot of the kids that in the beginning that I dealt with and had the opportunity to work with were economically disadvantaged, where in racing it's extremely expensive. And so we had to figure out how to overcome those disadvantages. And a lot of that is just mental. At the end of the day, if there's a will, there's a way, and I truly believe in that. In today's world right now, I have both. I have some that are economically disadvantaged, and I have quite a few of my clients that are very wealthy and advantaged. And there's still that same kid no matter what. So how did I take that? Whether they're having some mental issues, some financial issues, some family issues, at the end of the day, it's just issues. And we look at each particular case and figure out how we become successful, whether it's in racing or in business, right? Or in relationships. It's all the same thing to me. People say, oh, you only coach racing, or oh, you only help with golfing. But at the end of the day, a coach is a coach, and it's all about the mental state. It's not about the physical attribute of the sport, I think, that we're in.
Yeah.
And I think it's also, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I can't give, professional advice, but at the end of the day, it's your
You're
support
like the
system.
race doctor.
Some call that whatever. But it's that kind of sounded kind of sexy too.
Oh,
yeah. But but it's really it's still the support system.
Yeah.
You got to find the support system in everything we do. And kids now with the sense of entitlement, we also have to know that they need a lot of discipline, and we need to give them some room in order to make some mistakes in life. And then when they make those mistakes, for me, I do them just short of spanking their behind. Just short of that.
Corporal punishment.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, some kids need it, but I give them just
go to jail.
Yeah, I give them just short of me going to jail. But they need some structure, and they need some discipline, and they need also with all of that, they need to know that we love them to death.
Yeah.
And for me, if it wasn't for our son, we probably wouldn't be together. I probably wouldn't be as successful in the racing, because I do a lot of it for him, so that he knows that, I am a strong black man that's in a game that there's not many minorities in, and that if you put forth the effort, you put in the work, that, anything's possible.
Yeah. Well, you've alluded to that I have written a book, which is Hidden Treasure, 5 Steps to Transformational Self-Love. And we're going to go to break, but when we come back, I'm going to talk about, my I'm still standing moment, and how the book came about, how all of that was kind of created. So we'll be right back. Remember, like us on Facebook at Love Hidden Treasure. Thank you. Be right back. So welcome back to Hidden Treasure Moments. I am Kara Adams, and
I'm Troy Adams.
And we want to thank you for listening and being part of our podcast. And we left off, Troy was talking about his I'm still standing moment and everything that he's been through with racing and our marriage and just being a successful role model. And that kind of brings it to me in my I'm still standing moment. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was diagnosed at 43 years old. Mm-hmm. And, it wasn't funny, but it was, when you get diagnosed with something like that, the doctors, the nurses, your staff, your medical staff, they always ask the same question. What made you get screened or what made you get tested? And, I always say, my story, it's not unique, but really, I think it probably is. So my husband, love him to death.
Now.
Yeah. But anyways, we were going on a trip. I think we were going to the river, and he had gotten a bootleg movie. Now, I'm a marketing professional by trade. I hate bootlegs. Hate them. I don't like seeing, whoever stand up in the middle of them. But anyways.
I'm sorry. Being in the Black community, I don't know how people don't love bootleg movies.
I don't.
That don't make no sense.
I don't love them.
No sense. But go ahead.
Thank you. Anyways. So, he brings a couple movies home, and one is I Miss You Already with Drew Barrymore. And so, spoiler alert.
I thought I was getting some.
Yeah, no. But anyway, spoiler alert, turn the volume down if you don't want to hear how it ended. But the leading woman, dies of breast cancer, and she leaves behind 2 young children and a loving husband. And halfway through, I'm like boo-hooing, I'm bawling. Troy's like, babe, we can watch something else. I'll turn it off. I thought this was going to be a romantic comedy. And I'm like, no, I'm invested. Let's just finish watching it. And we watched it on a Saturday. And I decided on Monday that I was going to call the office and get a mammogram. I hadn't had one in 8 years. And breast cancer runs in my family. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. My grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer. My paternal grandmother passed away from breast cancer. So I knew it was a real thing in my life. And, sad to say, I thought, sometime I'll probably develop breast cancer. But I just didn't think I was going to develop it in my 40s. That just felt really unfair. And so when, from going and being tested to diagnosis was probably 4 weeks. It happened all very, very quickly. And I remember, I told Troy when it was time, they called for me to come in and talk to me about my results. And, I remember telling Troy, oh, babe, you don't have to come. It's nothing. They're going to say, oh, we'll just watch it for, 6 months and have you come back in. And so he's like, which I totally appreciate and love him for. He said, no, babe, no, I'm going to go in with you. And thank God that he did, because I was diagnosed with stage 1, type 2, triple positive breast cancer. In my mind, that had to have been the worst. Oh my God. And once our doctor said that, I completely tuned out. I couldn't hear anything. I was just bawling. And I remember our doctor turning to Troy and saying, okay, you're going to have to take notes. You're going to have to pick up from here, because she's not going to be able to digest anything that I'm saying at this point. And he was right. I'm finding out, my stage, I'm finding all of this stuff, and we're scheduling my, my first surgery. That wasn't even in my wheelhouse. How are we scheduling my surgery? I'm not, out of all my friends, I'm the healthiest. I eat right, I exercise, I don't do any kind of drug, nothing. How do I get breast cancer?
Maybe you should have did drugs.
Maybe. No, maybe. But I didn't understand it.
Right.
And so, from that moment on, my life had completely changed. And I took on within a few days, it was that I will do anything to survive. I have, at the time, our son was 6 years old. And for me, that I'm still standing, like, I didn't realize at the time, but it was starting even then that, okay, what do we have to do? Okay, I need a lumpectomy. Okay, that's what I got to do. Oh, my cancer is doubled in size in the 2 weeks between my diagnosis and my first surgery. Okay, well, what do we got to do? It's like, sometimes as adults, as women, it's just, I couldn't absorb it all. I just had to act, and I had to live, and I had to move in it. And, fast forward to, I've had a double mastectomy. I've been put into menopause. Like, my entire life, everything about my life has completely changed. But I'll say that my faith in God and my ability to find kind of the hidden light, the purpose behind it all, has really helped me to still be here. And I think when I was all done, I was in chemotherapy for a little over a year, about a year.
Yeah.
And so when I was all done with that, I remember like, okay, like I should be so excited. I should be happy, and I felt depressed. And I would be in the bed, I'd be talking to Troy, and I'd be like, babe, it's just something is not right. I don't feel whole. I feel like I've made it through all of this craziness and I'm living the same life. I've gone back to work. I'm doing the same thing. I'm adding all these pressures onto myself. And it was all for nothing. My near-death experience happened for nothing. And, I think Troy was like, oh God, we don't need any drama. And it's funny how God has it, how life has it. I ran into an old mentor, and she was like, you should talk to a consultant. You should talk to a life coach. And I'm sorry for all the life coaches out there. I was like, ugh.
You love them?
No. Oh. I'm like, people in my mind, coach who cannot do. You're going to tell me what to do and your life isn't even right. Yeah. But, at the time.
That ain't Patty.
No, my coach, oh my God.
She's a beast.
Yes. But, it's that sometimes that fear that, that wanting to push something away so quick, it's because you really need it. And, my first conversation with my coach and my business coach, she had me crying and she said, have you thought about writing a book? And so I was like,
no comment.
I was like, as a matter of fact, I had started writing a book and it was called something like The Silly Investor or The Savvy. No, it was like The
Savvy Investor.
The Savvy New Investor or something like that. And I had written a couple of chapters and I'm like, babe, I was so proud of myself.
That was one of the worst books I've ever read in the beginning.
Oh my God. You don't read.
You're right. This is why it was one of the worst. Again, probably not one of my proudest moments that I told you that in the beginning and almost got myself in trouble again. Thank God for Patty that she told you the same thing.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yes. So I had written this book. Troy was definitely not a fan. And, I had given it, I was talking to Patty one day and she was like, you know what? That's not your book. I know your story. I know everything you've been through. Just sit down and think about, really putting forth an effort to just write your thoughts down and maybe make it into a book. And so I was like, Patty, I'm not an author. I'm not a writer. My grammar is not that good. I don't care, I'll leave a comma out in a second. But she was like, no. There's a writing coach, go up to Portland, do all that stuff. And so, fast forwarding a ton, I end up writing the book. And I will say and I wrote it in a week, which is insane. But I will say that was really the first opportunity that I was able to look at myself from 20,000 feet up. And I was able to see everything that I had been through and how God had woven this blanket of my life so that I could get to exactly where I was. And through writing my book and writing my memoir, I saw the reason why I was still standing. I saw that why I was here was to help women. to inspire women, to help people going through crazy, crazy emotional events that they think, I can't possibly move on. I can't possibly step another step because my life is just weighing down on me, that I feel like I'm underneath water because things are so tough. And when I saw everything that I had been through, my purpose was pointed out. It was like this, like the clouds opened up and God was like, this is what it was all for. This is why you are here. It's because you're a messenger. You don't have to have the perfect message. You don't have to speak perfectly. You don't have to be, grammatically correct all the time. The message, and people will feel your passion and you will do my work for me.
It's funny you always say, though, it's for women, but
I know
many of the men who have read your book, and now I've been in a couple of different men's groups, you kind of jack up the dynamic in a sense that after they read it, now I have to listen to about a month or two worth of discussions regarding your book, because it's not just about the woman's side of the view. It's also gives us men the insight of what a woman thinks, because you have you think and you write in, I don't know, first person, second person. I don't know what the heck all that is. But the bottom line is you have an alter ego that also comes out in the book that affects a lot of men and helps them to think about where they are in their relationship and how to make that better. So that's what's been probably the most exciting for me, is to see that you're also changing lives of both men and women, and then in their relationship and and then the relationship and their goals and how they kind of take that voyage through life. So again, commend you on that one. Love you on that. So
thank you,
good
baby.
job.
And it feels crazy that like cancer brought this out. Like, I won't say cancer was good, but I'll say it was enlightening.
Your son will say cancer was good.
Yeah.
Sadly enough.
So I did when I was going through it, like I didn't have a platform to talk about just how devastated I was and what I was going through, because I felt like I had to be strong. I had to be strong for my parents. I had to be strong for Troy. I had to be strong for my son. And so I would go into our office whenever I was feeling particularly vulnerable or awful or whatever. And I would put together a video, and then I would stream it, or I would put it up on YouTube. And it was called Kara's Cancer Corner. It's still there. Anyone going through anything, you'll see it. But really, that was my opportunity to let the inside voice come out. And one episode, I was interviewing our son, and he was still 6 at the time. And I remember asking him, like, what do you think about mommy having cancer? Because, I was bald. I had no eyebrows. Like, he was embarrassed to be seen with me. And I was so shocked that he said, Mommy, I like that you have cancer. Or your cancer is good or something. He said something to that effect. And it blew my mind. And I was like, what? Like, why would you say cancer is good? And, perception is our reality. And his perception was, Mommy was home. Mommy was cooking cookies with me. Mommy was picking me up from school. Mommy was doing my homework with me. Like the things that were important to our son's world, all came into being from me being home and me being sick. And that was also like, what?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Why am I putting my job, everything in front of my family?
No, and that's what's crazy is sometimes it takes something that drastic of a situation to make you realize what truly is important. And I can remember just all the treatments that you would go through, and your doctor would ask you, what's crazy is you were always about you, in a sense. And I say that is feeding that ego of what made you important, but what you didn't realize, and sometimes people don't realize, is that what makes you important is not your title. Yeah. What makes you important is the things that you're doing, not just for yourself, but for others. right? And what is the legacy that you're leaving behind? And so you were so worried at that time about your title that you forgot that you were only a number.
Yeah.
And it took the cancer and it took all those different things. I remember sitting in the doctor's office and, they told you all those different things about basically you were going to die.
Yeah.
And the only thing you heard was I had to stop working.
Yeah.
I had to take a leave of absence. And that
was the first time I cried in the office.
Yeah. So you didn't cry after the initial one. You never cried until your second doctor told you basically you had to take leave of absence. And so for me, it woke me up because my counterparts, and I think growing up into the African-American community and maybe even the minority community, but I know in African-American, for me, it was never that you could stay home, like be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Wife? Psh,
yeah.
Like, girl, you better go out there and work, make some money. The heck you talking about stay at home? That was always.
I remember you saying that.
Oh, heck yeah. But
you didn't.
What's crazy enough is hearing Truly saying that and all the other things. And then again, me traveling with the families that I travel with now and seeing the success that they have with maybe their wife not being in the corporate life, but also being able to support and travel and be a family unit. And they're all successful, and I see the difference also in their kids and how they see life and travel and
how independent
they are. Right. So that changed, I think, not just yourself, and what cancer changed is the direction of our life. And so why we're standing has truly been that, is we've been able to kind of go through life on this crazy voyage, seeing these things and not letting them just beat us down, but seeing the good out of them and what we need to do to move forward.
Yeah. Well, with that, one of the things that we've put together and that I'm really proud about is that in May, we're going to do our very first event. And so we're putting together a VIP gym retreat. It's going to be in Riverside at the Mission Inn on May 11th. And the whole point of it is, and May 11th is the day before Mother's Day for any guys or anyone out there, any kids that want to do something special for their mom. But it's really a day of just indulgence, like from the food to we're going to do yoga and we're going to meditate and we're going to do some workshops.
Don't tell them all.
Okay, I won't tell it all. But it's really a day of love and life and enjoying, kind of the community. And if you're interested, please go to my website. It's www.karaadams.com, Kara with a K. And you can find out more about the event. But I'm really excited about it. My goal is to do these a few times a year and to really help women celebrate who we are, help women to be selfish in a good way. Like, we think of selfish as like, oh, you're selfish, that's bad. But sometimes you need to be selfish so that you can be better for your family. When I know it's so hard, I try to go and get my hair done once a week or every other week, or, do my fingernails.
That's new.
It is new.
Okay. You acting like you did. That's mine. Because I used to always tell you, girl, you need to go get your hair done every week. Yeah. Every other week. You're like, nah, I don't have no time.
Well, I felt, I think women feel like we have have to be
I don't think that's every woman. I don't think that's every woman.
I think it is. I think it's more women than you think. I think it's that we never
agree to disagree.
Well, let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. But I think it's what's on the inside. Like, that's what we're thinking, and we think, oh, okay, our husbands are doing whatever, and we want to be pleasers, and we want to be able to do it all. I want to get Truly up. I want to get him dressed. I want to get him fed. I want to go to work, and then I want to please everybody at work, and then I want to work late and make sure that I'm climbing up the ladder, and I'm doing everything else for everybody else.
Okay, I agree to that.
Thank you.
All right.
And then I come home, and I'm like, babe, do I need to get anything from the grocery store so that I can cook and get Truly ready for bed and do his homework?
And do laundry.
Okay, don't do laundry.
Okay.
At all.
I'm sorry.
I will buy underwear. That's why they got stores. But I hate doing laundry.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going back.
Thank you, because you just totally got me off of what I was talking about.
That's what my job is.
But anyways, and so we feel like, that there's no time left for us. Or
Who does the laundry?
You.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that I get some pluses in here.
You do the
All right,
laundry.
go ahead. Go back. Go ahead. I'm just wanting to get...
Stop
go
interrupting
back.
me.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, and so sometimes we feel like when we do make time to get our hair done or we do make time to get our nails done, like it's taking away from the family. And so I'd be doing it, but I wouldn't be getting any pleasure out of it because I'd feel guilty for doing it. And, and so when I say to be selfish or when I'm kind of spewing that mantra, it's about not only doing it, but feeling good about it and knowing that when you get your hair done, when you get your nails done, when you read a book, when you go to the spa, when you do these things to bring life and joy back into your spirit, that you're better to everyone else for it. Like I have more patience for Truly when we're doing his homework and I want to strangle his little ass out. Like and our son speaks, he's in Spanish school, I digress, but he's in Spanish school in dual immersion and I can hardly do his homework. And so like when he's crying and doesn't want to do it, I just feel like when I give a little back to myself that I just have that much more patience and time and love to give to him. And so that's really what...
No, I totally agree to that. And the new you is way better than the old you. So let's get that out.
How was the old me?
That is a whole nother show. So I told you, your book is your truth. It may not be the truth
for sure,
but it is your truth. But
for sure,
I agree that all of what you just said. However, I think in a marriage, there is sometimes that women and or men do a little bit too much. So I would always go back to saying that communication is key, making sure that you're talking to your partner and making sure that they're on the same page so that they don't feel as though maybe sometimes a spa or you're getting your nails done too much or your hair done too much.
Like that?
No. I always think you need to be tight. So as far as I'm concerned, get your hair done, get your nails done, go buy a few outfits.
That's a song, isn't it?
I don't know, but I just know that, I'm not saying go to whatever.
There's extreme.
Yeah, extremes. And so it's communication is the key.
And we talked about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we talked about it. And I think, that we're much better at communicating where we are. Because even though I was doing all of those things, you would ask me, like, do you want me to pick up Truly? Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? Like, you asked, but I would tell you no. Like, that was something in me. That wasn't you. And, writing the book, I started to really recognize that part of where I was, part of the position that I had put myself in, I had put myself in. I know.
Give me a pen or something. I need to write this date. Jesus.
Not going to say it twice.
Yeah, I know you don't. Go ahead.
But, sometimes we have to look at our lives and look where we are and take responsibility for the choices that we've made. And there's always a chance, always an opportunity to kind of change and be different. Okay, so I always like to ask, now, knowing everything that you know, knowing everything that you've been through, what would the big you, this you right now, say to the little you to help to navigate your world?
What would the big me say to the little me back in the day? Women crazy. Women crazy. That'd probably be the first thing. I mean, at the end, I used to remember my dad saying, women are crazy. And I think, Daddy, you just being mean. No, women, you crazy. That's the bottom line. But
your daddy was a little crazy. I'm just saying.
But I was going to say, but so are men, right? I mean, men are crazy as well.
Yes.
So I know there's that book. I don't even know what the heck the book's name is. Venus, Mars, whatever the thing is.
Women are from Venus, not Mars. Something like that.
But I think that would be the first thing. And then understanding that women are crazy and men are crazy, right? And then we come from these two different worlds. It's going to take a lot of work to have a successful relationship and have a successful marriage. And it's not going to be easy. And at the end of the day, when we say our vows, do you truly believe it? I think people get married now or get into relationships and see the easy way out. See that, man, okay, if it don't work, I can get a divorce. And or I would also say put myself around strong married couples, because at the end of the day, most of your friends and some of my friends that were tight weren't worth a damn as far as I was concerned, and they were be the first ones to tell you to leave. But I think it's your story and our story that could help others, because at the end of the day, we are way stronger now than what we were. And if I would have left, or you would have left, I would have gotten the same type of individual and been through the same situation. So for me, the big me tells the little one is to endure. To just endure.
That's a good word.
And at the end of just endure, and this too shall pass. That's it. Endure.
Okay. So, me, what would the big me tell the little me? I think the big me, I gotta stop doing the whole I think thing. The big me would tell the little me not to worry so much about what other people thought. That I find that wanting to please people and wanting to be what other people expect, that has caused a lot of stress and anxiety in my life for no reason. People are going to think what they're going to think. I have no control over what they think. I can just control how I react to what's happening. And so I need to spend a lot less time, and I think I'm getting there, but a lot less time on trying to be what other people think I should be. And being honest. So I would say to the little me, girl, be you. Do you.
Yeah, for sure.
Feel good about who you are, and, forget the naysayers.
I got to go back, though, really quick.
Okay.
I got to go back really quick. No, because I said something, and to me, words are extremely powerful. So when I said your friends weren't worth a damn and neither is mine, I mean it in a context of when it came to relationship, many of our friends that we reached out to or reached out to us were almost in that same situation. So for them either not to get caught in their situation and or to them to make themselves feel better, they told you or said the wrong things, because a lot of those same individuals were either going through the exact same thing and are back with their spouse now. Right? And because they're back with their spouse now, they're built extremely successful businesses or are become happy within their relationship. But when you're going through, it's just surrounding yourself around good people. And I think that's whether it's marriage or anything else. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I sat here and said, man, you guys, we've been blessed to have some really good friends. But sometimes in those heated moments, they say some stupid ass things. So,
well, I think it's hard to take advice from someone who's never been through it. So we're looking at, that when you do that and you take that advice, you just got to look and see where it's coming from. So, when you think about, everything you've been through, what the little you said to the big you, or the big you said to the little you, and you've looked at your life from 10,000 feet up, what do you treasure today?
I just say I treasure our family. I treasure my relationship. Again, I do treasure my relationship with God. I treasure my relationship with my friends, with my support system. And I treasure you.
Aww.
Without truly, I've always said,
kids, baby. That's sweet.
Without you guys, I would be nothing. And that's all I've always said. It's always been us, ride or die. It's just us.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. What do I treasure?
You better say the same thing.
Oh, I will. Oh, okay. I am.
Just kidding. Like I said, do you. You said do you, so go ahead.
I treasure that I have been able to make it through so many crazy situations and be healthy and happy for it. I treasure you because I truly believe that I wouldn't be here. I truly believe I would have died from cancer if you wouldn't have listened to God, got that movie.
Now you're trying to make me cry.
Oh! But got that movie and, had me watch it. I know I'm here for a reason. And, I'm really thankful for you for listening to what he told you to do. And, I treasure our family and our growth, that you have really allowed me to, and not only allowed, because that feels weird to say it like that, but you have inspired me and pushed me to live in my purpose. Like that old you who would never even consider me being at home, now for all intensive purposes, I'm at home. Like I go into work, we spend time together. I pick up our son. I don't have that traditional 9 to 5, and I treasure and adore that this is my life and that you are in it.
So then I guess my question to the listeners is, what is their purpose? What is their purpose, and what do they treasure?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Think about it. So really, this has been our very first podcast. I'm so excited to have my husband, my best friend, my lover as my co-host. And, we'll be here every Thursday from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And you can find us on Morris Media Studios. And I want to say some thank yous. So I want to say thank you to the poetess, to Felicia Morris, to Morris Media Studios, to Troy, my co-host, and our sponsors, because we have a sponsor for today. Woo-hoo! American Solutions, making this happen. Thank you, American Solutions Group. And also we want to thank the listeners. We want to thank you for being on this journey with us, and we hope and pray that you invite your friends, you tell them about us, and remember, we'll be here on Thursdays at 10:30. Do you want to say something, babe?
Nope, I think you covered it all.
And I'm going to just leave by saying, remember to find the treasures, because life is full of treasures and purpose. Thank you.